Today marks the birthday of our 40th President Ronald Reagan. He would be 112 today if he were still with us. His birthday comes just 2 days after that Chinese spy balloon was shot out of the air off the coast of South Carolina. The term Cold War is surfacing again, not just with Russia, but maybe China too.
Michael Reagan is a former president's son and president of the Reagan Legacy Foundation. He joins us right now. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
Well, when we look at what's going on geopolitically right now, do you see some parallels to the Reagan era in the 1980s? Are we in this opening act of another Cold War right now, based on what's happening?
Oh, I think we've been in the opening act for a long time. We haven't recognized it at all, which is really kind of sad. I've tweeted out many times at Reagan World, World War III with China, and I'm very, very serious. I worry about my grandchildren, in fact, being caught up in World War III with the Chinese, because we're treating the Chinese the same way we treated Germany back during the 1930s. We're letting them get away with everything and anything they want to do, and we don't hold them accountable to anything. And they keep on moving the ball forward, and we do nothing. They send up balloons, we do nothing. We shoot it down, 5 days too late? So, yeah, I think we're in a Cold War of sorts with China, and we haven't recognized it, and it's normal for Democrats. This is the game that they play. This is why Ronald Reagan was so important to come in 1980 and say, wait a minute, my foreign policy is really simple. We win, they lose. Well, China looks at it and says, they win and we lose, and we're playing their game instead of playing our game.
Showcasing strength is really key right now, especially during the time when you've got Chinese balloons making their way across the United States. When you think about how your father would have responded to a similar situation, what differences might you see with how the current administration handled the matter?
Well, I don't think that balloon would have got past the Aleutians, let alone take off. It's about strength. Like my father once said, there have been 4 wars in his lifetime, none of which were started because America was too strong. It's when America is weak, our adversaries try to take advantage of us. And when we are strong, they don't. I mean, look at Trump. Nothing like this happened during the Trump era. He was strong. Nothing happened during the Reagan era because he was strong. It's about putting us in a world of strength, not weakness. And we show weakness with what's going on, with the balloon going across this country and taking it out, on the East Coast, instead of taking it out even before it reached the United States of America, let alone take off.
So if you had a crystal ball, what do you think is going to happen next now that we've seen this all play out?
Well, the crystal ball is China's not going to stop doing what they're doing. They're going to keep on moving the goalposts, moving the ball forward to see at what point we're going to stand up. And my worry is they may not stand up for Taiwan. They may not stand up for anything else in the future. Remember, they're building islands out in the South China Sea. The USS Ronald Reagan, thank God, is out there protecting the United States of America and the world against this. But again, unless the President of the United States shows strength, they're going to keep on building more platforms, building more ships, building more planes. And when they think they're strong enough to go against America, when we've given all of our weapons to Ukraine, they'll move in.
Well, the President of the United States will have the stage tomorrow night, right? He will have the nation tuning in, and internationally, perhaps the CCP will be watching as well as he delivers a State of the Union address. Your father was the first to do something at one of these addresses in 1982 to invite a special guest. Let's go back in time for a little and watch.
Just 2 weeks ago, in the midst of a terrible tragedy on the Potomac, we saw again the spirit of American heroism at its finest. The heroism of dedicated rescue workers saving crash victims from icy waters. And we saw the heroism of one of our young government employees, Lenny Skutnik, who, when he saw a woman lose her grip on the helicopter line, dived into the water and dragged her to safety.
What a special moment there. Of course, the thunderous applause from Congress and all of the special guests, right, to really highlight an American who went above and beyond to save others. Talk to me about sort of the precedent that set when it comes to recognizing everyday folks in this country.
He made us feel good about America. He made us feel good about ourselves. Remember, he was the first president to salute going on or coming off Air Force One or Marine One. He did a lot of firsts as President of the United States. recognizing Americans and the duty that they serve when they serve in the military or what have you. He made us feel good. And we don't have anybody making us feel good today. There's nobody, uplifting us. And we need to be uplifted. And until we're uplifted, we're not going to get any better. We're learning to hate ourselves and hate others instead of uplifting each other and loving one another. We're learning to hate one another. And my dad will be so sad to see where America has gone since he left the stage back in 1989 when he saluted that one final time, getting on Marine One helicopter and coming home.
Yeah, we could certainly use a lot more love and good, as you mentioned there, in the world. 2 weeks ago, DirecTV, I'm going to shift gears here, dropped Newsmax. What do you think of this?
It's really sad. When you're dropping conservatives on all these platforms. A friend of mine, Mark Rotterman, was dropped off public television in North Carolina, #1 show, because they said he was too conservative. He had Newt Gingrich on for a whole hour. My God, get rid of this guy. And this is what's happening with all these platforms, because we're gaining strength as conservatives. So you have organizations like AT&T, DirecTV saying, how can we stop their voice from getting out? Because if we let that voice get out, we may lose the game instead of winning the game like they are. So they are doing what they're doing, and it's unconscionable. What they're doing is taking away so many rights, our rights to be able to speak and see what we want to see. Newsmax, what were they doing wrong? They were an answer to a lot of people who were trying to get conservative news and learn what was really going on in America instead of having to watch ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, and MSNBC, by the way, who really hate America, instead of looking at a television show that loves America.
That's true. Definitely broadcasting the good of this country and also having conversations with folks like yourself, who you just might not hear all the time on other networks. Michael Reagan, thanks for joining us today, especially on the anniversary of your father's birthday. We do appreciate your time.
112th. I'm headed there now.
All right. Thank you so much. Take care.